Well, hello everyone out there in Facebook land. Welcome to the Brick Cave. I am your host for this quick live session with author J.A. Giunta. Hi.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
So, before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that has backed the Kickstarter so far. We reached the $2,000 goal that we had set for the campaign. So, hooray! Yay. Which means the first book will now get to go and be produced, assuming that we don't have anybody drop off, because, you know, we're like right at 2005. Or 2006. $2,006.
I mean, once it reaches the goal, doesn't it get charged?
No. It only gets charged after the deadline for the campaign. So July 15th is when the campaign officially ends.
Oh, so it's still...
It's still active, which is why we're
Do you have
here.
any stretch goals?
Well, that's why we're here.
Oh, okay.
So, just to help everybody get up to speed, I didn't really talk to him at all before we started the video. I just kind of let him figure it out for himself. So, to bring everybody up to speed, the first goal, which was the $2,000 goal, basically set the order of the books that we're going to make. So, at $2,000, we are able to afford the first book, which is going to be Healer's Legacy, because Sharon had more people from her fan base jump in and back. So, but what it also did was it set the order of the next couple of books. So if we hit $3,000, then we're going to do Platinum Magic. And when we hit $4,000, then we will do Last Incarnation. So that is the...
How much time you got left? What's today?
18 days.
Okay.
We have 18 days. So our goal today is to talk to you about why it's important that we hit $4,000. Why is it important that we hit $4,000, Joe?
Apparently, because that's the only way we're going to get an audiobook.
So,
I'll do it my damn self.
Oh, God, no, that would be... Yeah, Joe narrating his own book. Is that what you want to see? Go back the Kickstarter, and we'll pay him to be the narrator on his own book.
Yeah, I bet you never expected my characters to have New York accents.
Did you?
Yeah, I never really envisioned accents while I'm writing the voices, but it always kind of leans towards like a medieval English.
Isn't that like a fantasy thing? Isn't that kind of a trope?
It's a trope, but yeah. I mean, I'm sure people in England don't like it.
Yeah.
Just like I know for a fact Scottish people hate hearing Scottish accents in fantasy, like, you know, the dwarves and all that. They just Scottish friends.
Bonkers.
Like, it's ridiculous.
It's bonkers. Yeah. Well, it's, you know.
I wonder if English fantasy authors have like American accent. It's so exotic.
So I don't have any access to the comments for the video. So if you have a question, I apologize. I won't be able to answer it while we're live, but I'll certainly be able to answer it after. Or Joe can pop in and answer any questions that you have too about the book, or about the process, or kind of what's happening. So
this is on Facebook, right?
This is on Facebook Live.
I don't even.
I think Sharon might be watching it right now. I think she's trying to get clues for her video, which is going to be next week. So Bruce was here Saturday. I don't know if you got to watch that.
I don't really use Facebook that much.
You make it so hard.
I check messages. That's it. Once a day. If you don't catch me in the morning, then I'm not getting it till
So
tomorrow.
Bruce was in on Saturday, and it was interesting because I asked him what he felt was the compelling reason that we should make audiobooks for Healer's Legacy and Last Incarnation. And his answer in regard to Last Incarnation is he wants to hear the voice of the dog.
Okay.
That's his. I want to hear that voice. I want to hear him, that character. Just go. That's what he wants.
All right.
What about you? What do you want to hear?
I've never listened to an audiobook. So.
Well, there you go then.
Well, I mean, I did listen to one, but it's because I was editing. My wife's niece does audiobooks. She's a voice actor, narrator, yeah. And so she needed somebody to listen to catch mistakes, like read the script and then listen to what she's saying. It. So I'm sure it's not the same experience.
Well, certainly not a focus for enjoyment, I would imagine. How'd that go then?
I found a lot of mistakes, and the book was terrible.
Oh, well.
I mean, it was terrible.
All right, well there you go then.
Yeah.
Okay, we won't go into any more.
It was a mystery book. Okay. The main character was trying to solve a murder. And at the end, she was completely convinced the wrong person did it, and the murderer confessed on stage for no reason. Awesome book.
Good plot there. Good,
nobody saw that coming.
Good arc. That's a surprise. That one happened. That one got you. It's an Angela Lansbury right there. Just saying. So, what are you working on now? I know we've got a book in play that we're trying to get finished up and get out for you.
Yeah, we got any
working on art
leads on the cover?
No, I need to reach out to Thidapon and just get that done. So, I'll do that this weekend. Now it's live. I've just live committed to reaching out to Thidapon.
Yeah.
I just told him I'd meet him in Italy too. By the way.
You gonna go to Italy?
No. He posted a picture of being in Italy and was like, "Oh, I miss you. We should meet here." And I was like, "Oh, you don't have to miss me. Let's just meet there." And then I said, "Oh, we were talking about the picture."
We need to get him to send us some Tyrone.
I know.
It's like a whole pie.
Thidapon.
We need a pie.
We need a pie
of Tyrone.
Of Tyrone. That is our request of you.
The one time we went to Italy, I was there at a shop that was selling it, and I'd never seen it that way before, because you always get it in the little squares. And so I bought a pie slice. You know, they slice it just like a pizza, except it's
Wait,
big.
You went to Italy with Thidapon?
No, with my wife.
Oh, it was like
years ago.
Okay.
And,
I was like, what?
So good. I just sat outside eating the whole pie slice, and then it was like, okay, it's time to go. And I'm like, no, wait. And then I've never seen it sold that way again. You can only get it in Italy, buy the pie.
Where in Italy were you?
At that point, we were in Assisi, which is like a small town.
Down in the,
so we went with a friend's church group.
In the peninsula or up in the Alps?
I have no idea. I'm an American. I don't know geography. So we we followed this church group from church to church.
You do write, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I make it all up.
All right, I'm just checking.
I don't do research. So it was funny too, because I mean they were all very religious and we were atheists, and so they would go to the church and we would just go sightsee. Eat.
Buy food. Yeah, very good.
I forget, what was your question?
I forgot my question
we were talking about audiobooks, I'm sure.
Yes.
Oh no, you were saying what am I working on?
Yeah.
Nothing. Well, no, that's not true. So I've been watching, or I completely watched The Last Kingdom on Netflix.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was really good. I recommend it. And then we're watching Vikings, which is, I think it's older, but it's like a lesser version of Last Kingdom. I would say it's okay. It's not great.
I don't know.
Last Kingdom was really good. But anyway, I'm thinking of writing another fantasy in like a medieval setting, and I was debating if I want to have like absolutely no magic. But then I had another idea, and so I've just been taking notes. So, did you ever read Dragon Riders of Pern?
I did.
So it's that concept. It's going to be like a medieval English setting, except it's not going to be historically accurate. I'm just going to completely make up everything.
Right, sure.
But it'll be Earth and a second planet. And when the other planet comes close enough, there'll be like comets or whatever, and then these meteors that crash will have sort of like crystals embedded in the rock, and inside the crystals will be like a bioluminescent. It'll be like a living material, but it's going to equate to basically what mana would be, and then that's where the magic is going to come from. Except it's not going to be. It's going to be volatile. It'll be deadly to anyone who touches it for most people, and then the rest it'll be like a corruption thing where it turns them into sort of monsters, like maybe 20%.
Okay, all right.
And then I'm still debating if I want to have like a very small percentage of people who come into contact with it actually have some kind of magic, or go the route of making it like a crafting kind of thing where they'll use that material in a way that would seem like magic.
Okay.
But it's not going to be casting spells, rituals, stuff like that. It'll be very different. I guess you would call that a soft magic system.
Yes. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, but I haven't really gotten all that far into it. I just started taking some.
So different universe than.
It'll be completely different. Yeah.
Okay. Are you thinking of going back in the universe? Going back
for
into
Last Incarnation?
Yeah.
I've got notes for that. I've got notes for lots of stuff. I've got notes for multiple novels.
The book we just released.
Wardle?
Yeah. Is it Wardle in that universe?
It's in that universe, but it's kind of like alternate. Like, it doesn't take place in any of the locations that are in the trilogy.
Right. So it's
completely different part of the world.
Yeah.
But the magic system is very similar.
Okay. That's cool. So, just so everybody knows, if you would like to support getting to those first 2 stretch goals, you can. Just visit kickstarter.brickcavemedia.com and pick your level, and you can back at any number of levels, anything from $1 up to, I think our largest backing amount so far is $450. Thank you very much for that, backer. But there are different levels.
The biggest tier is...
The biggest tier is $250. Yeah. But you can adjust the amount of your tier because we have different sort of add-on items that you can add on. So you just go in, you pick your tier. If you're going to do an add-on item, you add whatever that amount is to your pledge or your back and submit. So we are just past the goal. So we're at $2,006 is what I was telling Joe earlier. So we've got a little bit of work to do to hit the first stretch goal. So anything you can do would be greatly helpful to help us get there.
We had a lot of call for, like, people asking for audiobooks.
Yeah, well, I mean, every event. It is probably there are 2 questions that we typically get asked at an event. Is it available on ebook and is it available on audiobook? And ebooks, we can say yes it is, because they are. Audiobook, we have not been able to do, with the exception of a couple of shorts that we did a couple of years ago for the steampunk stuff that we do. But we haven't really had enough money at one time to be able to say, okay, let's go ahead and pay a talent to go ahead and record this. So
how does an audiobook work? Like, is there a separate software, or is it just an MP3 that you play?
So it depends on the service that you use. So Amazon, it's kind of a bastardized MP3 format.
Is it like a podcast thing?
A little bit. They use their Audible. They bought Audible years ago.
Okay.
So everything they do is through Audible. So it's kind of like a bastardized MP3 format that they use. And so you purchase the audio, it gets downloaded into the Audible app, and then you listen to it through the Audible app.
That's cool.
Yeah. There are a few different services. iTunes offers them. And I don't know a lot about the format. I'm assuming that's a straight MP3 format, like you would get if you bought an MP3 or a single or what have you. And it would be, our books would be available through iTunes as well as Audible and Amazon. Libra FM is another service. That's kind of the indie service. I've
only heard of Audible.
A lot of the independent bookstores use a service called Libra FM. Just as an alternative to Amazon, so that they don't have to, continue to fund Amazon. So that's something you can check out if you're an audiobook fan. But audiobooks are huge right now. They are growing. They're the fastest growing part of the book market, and we haven't been able to take advantage of that. And I think that as we start to release our titles on audiobook, we're going to definitely see a lot.
Is it a difficult process? Why don't we do that in-house?
Because it is a difficult process. You want it to be clean, and we don't have the studio set up to. I mean, you've heard our podcasts. Our podcasts are a little rough around the edges. Yeah. We'd actually have to probably pay a producer to go in and clean them up to make them the quality that you
build a studio. Yeah.
I'll just throw you an invoice for that, and you can just kick the money over for that. Yeah.
And it is a stretch goal.
So, that's kind of what's happening. That right now we're just past the main goal. We're heading for stretch goal number 1. We would love to have your support for stretch goal number 1 because we do want to make sure that we get as many books recorded into audiobook as we can get. And we'd like it to have it done with professional voice talent as opposed to Joe.
No, you don't want me doing that.
No. So, how's everybody doing? You guys doing okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys hanging out at home? You guys are you're all introverts, so.
Yeah. I mean, Lori's just working from home, and we try to staying home mostly.
Yeah.
Just because she's immunocompromised.
Right. So. Right. So masks are about wear your mask, everybody. Do it for the other person. Don't do it for.
I bought this stretchy mask thing. It's supposed to be like a one size fits all. It's not.
It's not. Oh. Well, you do have a big head.
It's too tight.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I think most Americans have a big head.
Maybe. Maybe. Oh.
So anyway, back to your other question. I did have notes for another story in that universe of the trilogy.
Yeah.
It actually it would take place immediately after the end of the. Maybe not immediately. Maybe a few years after.
Because I know you had talked about something like that. You had also talked about a prequel at one point. You had talked about maybe doing something prior to.
I don't remember doing not a prequel for that. A prequel for Supernal. Or no, not a prequel. An alternate story for Supernal, like alternate characters away from all that stuff.
Yeah, but all kind of at the same
I don't
time.
remember having any notes for a prequel for Ascension trilogy.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of a different storyline. But I think at one point I thought you had mentioned you wanted to examine sort of some of the previous life generations.
Oh, maybe I did say that, but I don't have any notes for it.
Okay, well, I mean,
that would be interesting.
You've got a whole world, a universe to explore there.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of other stuff. I mean, you've got the Immortal Sherwood stuff. You've got, God, I can't think of anything right now.
What, the shorts?
Yeah, you've got.
Well, the one that I was going to go back was the Caught by the Tail.
Mm-hmm.
But I did War Golem, and it's very similar.
Seem very.
I mean, they're different enough, and especially it would be as it continued.
Right.
Just the premise is a little different because. In War Golem, he's just in an alternate fantasy world. But in Caught by the Tail, the dad is actually writing the story that they're in. Okay. So it's a little bit different, but it's still kind of the same premise where it's being transported to a fantasy world and stuff. But I did think about going back and working on that some more too. But right now I'm just taking notes on stuff.
What about more sci-fi?
I don't usually write sci-fi because I don't feel like I know enough. To do I have sci-fi ideas, but I wouldn't be able to explain the underlying of why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't have that scientific acumen to be like, this is how it works. Okay. Even if it doesn't exist yet, you'd want to be able to somewhat explain.
Sure.
So I don't want to do something where I can't explain.
Okay.
The why, and that's why I write fantasy because the why is. It just works.
It just works, everybody. Just get out there and buy his books because they just work. So, no events through the end of the year, it looks like.
Yeah.
Nothing going on. I'm sure at some point...
Everything's canceled, isn't it?
The only thing right now that is not canceled
Are they doing Comic-Cons?
Back to the first part. LA Times Festival of Books is still on the schedule for October 3rd, 4th right now. I'm really expecting that in the next few weeks for them to say,
there's going to be a second wave.
Yeah. For right now, Phoenix Comic-Con's on the calendar for September, and they have not changed that yet.
Bad idea.
We didn't buy a booth there, so we have no horse in that race, as it were. But yeah, I would agree. I would think that would be not a prudent choice.
Because that's usually indoors with
central
air going.
Well, I just think that from the do we care about the community standpoint, I just think there are choices that you need to make that you have to make them. You just have to make them. You just don't really get that. I don't know. I've had a couple of ideas on some virtual stuff that we can do. Obviously we're doing a lot more of this kind of stuff, so we're doing a lot more video. And
we should do more stuff with Discord.
We should actually, and
so Discord has video options too.
If you don't know, Brick Cave does have a Discord. I think if you just go to Discord and just put in Brick Cave, you'll find it. Right?
I have no idea how.
I'll have to get with my Discord.
I don't know if you can search by name or.
I'll have to get with my Discord.
I've got a personal Discord too that I created for my Patreon and for readers or whoever. But the only people who join it are friends I play games with. So
well, there you go. Yeah. So Brick Cave does have a Discord, and if you are interested, post your interest in the comments section of the video, and I'll post the link to the Discord, and we'll see if we can maybe get some stuff going. I know Joe's a big Discord user. Joe's pretty much the only Discord user among the authors.
That's gaming.
Yeah, it's a gaming thing. But I bet I could get Sharon in it.
I mean, if you're going to do voice, I would use Discord over Skype.
Yeah, we don't use Skype. Pretty much Zoom is pretty much the only
I don't use Zoom.
Yeah, I know.
That's why we're here.
I know. That's why we're here. So we're trying to do a lot more virtual stuff to try to give people access to you guys, right? So they can learn more about who you are and hopefully overlook some of the challenges that we face in trying to promote your work when you don't really go out and do stuff. That was a dig, by the way. I was messing with you. But we really want to make sure that we do give people an avenue to talk to you, to answer your questions. You were on Reddit recently too.
Yeah, I did an AMA. It was Fantasy Author of the Day like a month ago.
That was kind of cool. Yeah. It seemed like there were a lot of people interested in that. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, but all of those people were from the fantasy writer community on Reddit. I didn't hear from anyone who's read any of my stuff.
Okay. So they were all just either other writers or just fans of that particular Reddit?
They were almost all of them were other writers.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Yeah. Which is good. I mean, gives you exposure to people that didn't know you existed before, so that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there was like an uptick on my website for a couple of days after that, but that's about it.
Speaking of, when's your next blog post coming out?
Never. I don't know. I don't really write blogs. If something comes to me, I'll write about it, but I mean...
Come on now.
Yeah.
We work hard on that website.
Keep
people updated. I do. I do.
No, I haven't written anything since I finished War Golem.
Well,
that was like a year ago.
Just to hey, we're still alive, we're doing well,
I have no idea what I would even blog about.
I'll send you a subject. I'll get a blog out of him. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. We'll get a blog out of him.
If you want to hear a blog from me, contact me directly. If somebody contacts me directly, I'll write a blog post.
All right, you heard it here first.
I have literally never heard from a single person who has read anything of mine. Not once.
Dude, I could totally prove you wrong on that because people.
No, I'm saying I have never personally.
But people have posted in your website. They posted comments, and you've answered the comments.
That's not really the same.
Come on now.
It's the same.
Come on now.
I mean, like I don't know, like an email or something, or even in person, like at the Comic-Cons. I've never come across anybody.
So what's your email address?
It's joeaveron@yahoo.com.
You heard it right here first, kids. So if you want more Joe content, whether it's blogs or books or what have you, joeaveron@yahoo.com, and I will be sure. I will not post that in the comments because that's just not going to do you any good. But we'll put it in the newsletter. We'll just say Joe needs to hear from you, and we'll get people to email you.
Okay.
That's about all I had. Except I have this question because I know you've read The Healer's Legacy.
No, I haven't. I don't have a copy.
Really?
I got asked, Sharon asked me to read the first 3 chapters when she was first
Which means
doing
you probably
her
haven't read
edits.
Bruce either.
No, I don't. I've never read any of our books or an independent author. The last fantasy book that I read that I bought was Raymond Feist. I have a huge book collection, but I haven't read in a long time.
All right, well then I can't answer you these questions because
you can ask. I'll wing it.
What do you think would be cool to hear out of The Healer's Legacy as an audiobook? Like what would you...
Obviously, I want to hear from the main character, and I want to know more about her accent. Well, I know that she's got animal companions in that book too, right?
Correct.
Do they speak the same way that...
No, well...
Or is it more like a Beastmaster general sense?
It's a little bit more of a Beastmaster general sense. It's not necessarily a direct, conversation. It's a little bit more of it's a intuitive, they understand each other kind of a sense. Which, I dig, because I just think that's a much more natural
So what's she working on right now?
So we're finishing up the second Nellig Stones book. We're waiting on artwork for that. So once that artwork is done,
we need more artists. I don't think Fitibon can do it all.
We do, actually. Well, actually, Fitibon's not doing this one. It's this one's at Kina.
Oh, okay.
So Kina's working on that one. But we do need more artists.
Yeah.
So if you're an artist, a fantasy artist, that can work with a reasonable budget.
I've had a novel waiting for a cover for over a year now.
Yeah, we've got a novel waiting for a cover that could use some love. So just reach out to us online. You can find us. We're easy to find, obviously. But she's working on that. She's working on a sort of a steampunkish kind of a manuscript, separate from what she and I do. I thought she was working on Supernal Dawn 2.
I've got a bunch of notes. Like, I started working on it, and then I don't know what happened. I lost steam or something. I haven't felt like writing in a while.
Oh, shame.
But it could have been that I didn't know. I won't start writing until I know for certain where the story's going.
Yeah.
And so even though I have a bunch of notes that are everything from the first book that I would need to know to build off of, so that took time to put together because I started using Scrivener. Normally I do all my notes in Word.
A lot of people like Scrivener.
So it's a completely different organizational system. So I, kind of converted everything to that. And then I started taking notes on, ideas of what I wanted to do going forward. But I don't think I really had a full story in mind. Like, I didn't know where the book is going to end.
Oh,
and so I don't want to start.
Right, until you know where you're going to stop.
Until I know. But I have general ideas of what I want to happen in the second book and the third book.
I was going to say, you guys have talked about more than just one.
Well, yeah, like that's the thing, too, is I'm planning the second and the third at the same time.
Right.
Because we've got limited space to work with because there's two of us, writing. So it's basically I'm writing half a book.
Right. Well, and then you got to make sure that you spend the time to make sure that everything lines up and there's consistency.
And that's why I need to know it all ahead of time because I need to figure out where I want it to go, and then I got to get with Sharon and figure out how her stuff fits into that before I can. It's like all incremental steps.
Yeah,
it's not.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I can't just be like, here's where I'm going to end. Figure it out.
So that
figure out your half.
I know too. She was working on the second Collars and Curses book, so she's working on that as well. So, and she's working on her. She's actually going to open up a consulting business. So, she's going to be a book consultant,
like an editor.
No, it's more than that. It's kind of coaching and kind of work you through the process of creating a manuscript ready to submit. So I know she's working on that.
There's a term for that, isn't there?
Book coach.
Is it book coach? I think it's something else.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. All I know is I'm the website guy. I'm the website guy for that. I don't do any of the other stuff for that.
Gotcha.
I got enough website stuff to do to keep me busy for a while. I just did Bruce's website too, so his new website just got launched.
Cool.
So, that's it. Again, if you want to back us and help us get to the first stretch goal, it's kickstarter.brickcavemedia.com. And it runs until July 15th. And there are stretch goals all the way out at each $1,000, all the way out to 15 right now. So, progressively, one of the nice things that we built into it is progressively, as you get further and further along in the stretch goals, the audiobooks become available to more and more of the backers. So the $25 backer, I think, is the first backer that gets a copy of the first book, which in this case would be Healers. But there comes a point where if we reach a certain stretch goal, then that backer gets another ebook or gets another audiobook. And then, if we reach another certain goal, then so many other people get access to audiobooks. And so it gets progressively more available as we reach more stretch goals.
That's cool. So are we just reaching people through Facebook? Or?
So we are Facebook and Twitter and Ello and MeWe and...
We should create a subreddit on Reddit.
I did. There's a subreddit
for Brick Cave.
There's a Brick Cave subreddit.
I have to search for it. I mean, is there
I don't really post
regular posting on it?
No, I don't really post on it. I'm not... Reddit's...
I use Reddit every day.
Reddit's a tough animal. Reddit is a challenging.
It's niche. I mean, if you're looking to cater, it's basically a forum. If you're looking to cater to a specific set of people, as long as they know it's there, then it works. But it's kind of like Patreon. If you don't know it's there, good luck finding it.
Right, and that's exactly right. Which is why Brick Cave doesn't do Patreon anymore. So. But that's it. So we are pretty much everywhere. I mean, you're going to find information about the Kickstarter on anything. We're on Goodreads, so there's a Goodreads group, and you can get information there. You can get information on Twitter. You can get information on Instagram. You can get information on... we have a little bit on Pinterest. We don't really have a lot on Pinterest because I just don't spend any time on Pinterest. And I don't think I've ever been. I don't have any interns right now, so I don't have anybody to assign to Pinterest. Oh. So, but there's a little bit out there. Some of the covers are out there. I think we made a pin group for the covers, the book covers on Pinterest. So, you can check that out. Where else are we? Obviously Facebook, Facebook group, Facebook page. I've been kind of playing with some alternate ones. I had the guys that made Wikipedia started one, IT Social or something like that.
Wait, what is it?
It's the guys the programmers behind Wiki.
Yeah, what'd they make?
They made a social network. It's called like IT Social or IT something.
What is it?
It's basically they've taken the wiki software behind Wikipedia and they've kind of turned it into a social media platform. It's interesting. I'll send you the link. I haven't done a lot with it.
Did we ever make a wiki page?
We did not. We did not. I need to actually compose one. We do have our own wiki. We actually have the Brick Cave Library, which is an instance of MediaWiki, which is the same software, but just it's its own wiki. But we don't have a... Scott's got a page on Wikipedia, Sharon's got a page on Wikipedia, and I think that might be it. I don't know if anybody else does. So, if you are an enterprising Wikipedia person, would love for you to take the initiative and start a Brick Cave Media insert Brick Cave Media page on Wikipedia.
Yeah, I have no idea how that works. Somebody just write a page and submit it?
Well, so it has to go through an editing process, so they actually have sort of a group of editors that basically look at it and say, is this worth being on Wikipedia or not? And so, or they say, hey, you said this article says this, but there's no citation, there's no proof that that's true or not. So, I mean,
that's good.
Yeah, it's
better
than
great. Most journalists.
It's great, right? It's great because it actually does, provide some sense of policing, if you will, to
that's how it should be.
Data. But I've never created a Wikipedia article for Brick Cave. I just haven't pulled the pieces together yet. But we did get one for Sharon put together, so she got one out. But that's it. That's all I know. What else do you know?
About what?
Anything. What's your favorite recipe right now?
Recipe?
Yeah.
You think I cook?
I think if you're hungry, you cook.
No, I order.
Oh my gosh.
I got favorite restaurants now. We use Grubhub a lot since this whole thing started. Who's your favorite restaurant? Favorite? I don't know about favorites, but we do have a few that we go to a lot. Chef J.A. is good Chinese food. Alhambra is really good Indian food. Normally, like, I can't eat anything spicy at all. Like, even if they say mild or low, whatever, I can't touch it. It's just too hot for me. And so we had an Indian restaurant in town where they made this yellow curry with potatoes, really good, but it got too hot for me. I don't know what, like, it started out okay, but eventually I wasn't able to eat it, and I told the guy, is there any way you can make it with no spice? I can't handle any spice at all. Yeah. And I swear to God, it was even spicier than the last time. I was like, whatever, you want to be that way, that's fine. We just won't eat at your place anymore. So this other place, I was, leaving instructions in the little comment box. No spice. And I don't know if he thought it was an allergy, but the chef called me. He's like, what do you mean by no spice? I'm like, it's too hot. I can't eat it. He's like, well, he makes all the dishes from scratch, but the way that they're made, only like one or two can be made with no spice. He's like, so if you order this
as soon as
and say no spice. So I get chicken korma, which I have no idea what it means, but it's just chicken, rice, and whatever. I think it's like a yellow curry, and it's awesome. It's no spice at all, and I can eat it, and it's great. So they're like our favorite Indian restaurant now.
Okay.
And we do like Pita Jungle, Streets of New York. We've got like 5 restaurants that we alternate between. And I usually get enough that there's leftovers for the next day and stuff like that. Even though my daughter refuses to eat leftovers, even if they're hers. She just won't eat any leftovers.
Well, that's a kid for you.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
As far as video games, I started playing a couple just yesterday. Gunfire Reborn.
I heard about that.
Colony Siege. New season of Diablo starts Friday.
Yeah, I'm still not into Diablo.
I played the hell out of WoW.
Still not into Diablo.
I played the hell out of WoW for months.
When does the next WoW release?
Shadowlands?
Yeah.
So Shadowlands, they don't have a set date. People are expecting it's going to be any time between August and November or something like that in there.
That makes sense.
The sooner, the worse.
Really?
Just because of the whole beta testing process. So people are hoping it's, the longer it takes, the better.
Yeah.
Because that means they'll get proper testing, but it sounds like they're making good changes, and it's kind of like a last chance for Blizzard. If they screw this expansion up, there's going to be a lot of people who are just going to be done with WoW altogether and just not come back.
Interesting. Well, I mean, it sounds like they're going to make a lot of changes. So
they are. They're bringing back talent trees,
fundamental changes,
and they're getting rid of that daily grind. Where the game feels like a chore.
Yeah.
Like,
I got to go in and do this.
Every time I quit the game, it's because I like to play lots of characters. I have lots of alts. I have 2 full accounts. And, I don't really multi-box, but I do like to have lots of characters. And when you've got, even if it's 30 minutes of, like, chores that you feel like you have to do every day, and you stretch that over 5 or 6 characters, every time that's happened, I've quit. Like the Warlords of Draenor with the garrison.
Yeah, that was not a good.
I gotta go do my garrison chores.
I'm still fighting with the garrison stuff. Still, it's been what, 5 years? 5 years I'm still dealing with that.
I'm hoping it's a good expansion, but we'll see. And then there's not a lot of other MMOs on the market that are really worth looking into. New World from Amazon. Mm-hmm. It's basically PvP. It's full, and it's not even like a good kind of PvP in my opinion. It's guild PvP. So you need buddies. And the guild master, there's one person who decides who goes on these fights. So if you're in a really large guild, there's just too many chances that you won't even get to play.
Right.
I don't really go for PvP too much anymore anyway. But I'm a backer, a founder for the Pantheon, which is the people who made EverQuest.
Yeah.
They're making Pantheon, which is kind of true to what EverQuest was. So like very social, like very hard to do things by yourself. You need to play with other people. You need to talk to other people, which is the problem that Blizzard has, and they don't realize, is that the trouble with WoW is you could do everything by yourself.
Right.
Even if you're playing with other people, you don't have to talk to them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And even if you do talk to them,
raids where you just run through the raid with everybody.
And even if you do talk to them, you may never see that person again because they're on another server, they're wherever.
Right.
But in a setting like EverQuest, it's a small community. Everybody is on that server. Everybody knows everybody. You act like an ass. Everybody knows you're an ass. You're going to be playing by yourself, and you're not going to get anything done.
Right.
So it's niche. Like, that's not for everybody because it's slow paced.
Well, and I'm not a big fan of PvP, and I'm not a big fan of group play. I just like to play. I just want to do my
So do I. I mean, I like 15-minute sessions of whatever I'm playing is perfect. And I know EverQuest is the kind of thing where you go in, you've got to set aside 90 minutes to 2 hours to play because it takes so long to get started, to get a group together, to get where you're going.
To get moving.
There's no fast travel.
Did you ever do No Man's Sky?
Yes, when it was new. I haven't played since they've made all those changes. Like they've released a ton of new expansions to make the game much better than it was on release.
I was going to say, because I think on release, they had said something like there's no chance you're ever going to run into anybody. Like, I was like, well, then what's the point of that?
They made a lot of promises that weren't in the game on release. But I think they've moved pretty far towards delivering on those initial promises with the free DLC.
There you go.
It's a much better game now than it was. Even though I haven't gone back to play it. There's too many other things to play for me.
So, did you do Eve?
I did, but in a weird kind of way. Because Eve is the kind of game where it's more fun to hear about than it is to play. Because playing it is a job. It's a weird. It's the only game that I know of that's time progress. So all of your character progression is real time.
Right.
So you accrue experience just by existing. You pay for your subscription, and your character just accrues experience over time. So I was subscribed for like a year and never played once, just so that my characters would keep leveling up, and you log in, you spend your points and whatever. I played for, I don't know, like maybe a month off and on, and it was work. It wasn't fun. I don't remember it ever being fun.
I did the free, the sort of get yourself started thing, and I got to the point where I got through the last of that, and it got you right to the cusp where it's like, okay, now you can go out in the universe, and I was like, I don't think I can do this.
Yeah, it's. I think it's got a steep learning curve, and it's kind of complicated. I started off just doing basic mining, which is funny because as soon as I started mining, I got a tell from somebody who's like really nice, like, oh, you're a new player, we can help you out. You join our group, we'll show you where to go, we'll escort you, nobody will ever attack you. You mine for us, we split the profits, do whatever. I'm like, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, I'll join you guys. And then within an hour, the same dude is screaming over guild chat, where the F are all you guys? Get over here and start mining. You guys, and I'm like, what? Leave. I'm gone. I don't know what. Dude was a psycho. I don't understand that. I'm like, I don't pay a subscription so I could be somebody's slave labor in a video game.
Yeah, totally. I just got to that point, and I was like, because I like the idea of it. Like, Eve is very attractive to me, and I got to the end of that, I don't know, 20 level or whatever it is.
It can be fun. There's some fun aspects.
And I was like, okay, this is. But then you're like, okay, you gotta go do your first thing, and I'm like, okay, this is not it. I'm out.
It's kind of like, well, maybe not as good. Did you ever play Path of Exile?
No.
Holy crap!
I've heard about it.
That game, you need to read wiki pages to play it just to get started. It's so complicated. Like the learning curve is so steep. I can't even get past level 25, 30. I just lose interest. It's just not. It doesn't have enough to grab me. Like all of the end game stuff sounds good, but they force you to play through this really long campaign to get there.
Yeah.
And I'm just not interested. I just don't want to do it. Right, like Warframe. Warframe's a really good game, but initially it had a steep learning curve. That's a complicated combat system. Not the combat system, but all of the gear, the mods that you use to modify your weapons and your gear and stuff. That's a complicated system, and it didn't do a good job explaining it back then. It's probably better now. I think it's got a lot of companies are focusing on new player experience because they realize how complicated their crap is.
Right. Because you can't get new players if you don't make it welcome.
Right. But it's a really good free-to-play game. It's kind of unusual.
All right, well, I think we're done. I think we've spent now half an hour talking gaming on this podcast, or this live feed that was supposed to be about the Brick Cave Kickstarter. It is kickstarter.brickcavemedia.com. We want Joe to be writing. We don't necessarily need him to be exploring all these new games. So if you would go and be a backer for us, that would be most helpful so that we can keep him engaged in writing. Otherwise, we'll just turn this into a gaming show.
There you go. We can start playing Dungeons and Dragons again.
Is that still around?
What do you mean? Yeah, it's around.
Well, I didn't know.
I haven't played in probably a year and a half.
I have not played that game.
But I have all the 5th edition books and...
Oh, no, not. I meant the MMO.
Oh, no. It's still around, but it's
we played a tabletop here.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, playing tabletop. Like, you could even do, a version over Zoom,
Yeah, no, we, when Marcus was here, Marcus the intern, everybody remembers Marcus?
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. For some reason, I couldn't go to the
We did a session. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We could probably do it again, because he works upstairs now at the Chambers, so it's not like he's not available.
Yeah, it's just,
He does a lot of Magic, though.
Magic the Gathering?
Mm-hmm.
The place that I played was a Magic the Gathering shop.
Yeah, he's big into. Well, he's big into Magic, but he's big into Pokemon too. I think.
The cards?
Yeah.
Huh, I didn't think that was as popular anymore.
If I remember right, he's a big. Like he's got a channel and everything for it.
Oh. I know Magic is much bigger than Pokemon.
All right, enough on that. Thank you all very much for taking the time to listen and be a part of this live broadcast. I'll probably put this video out on the Brick Cave YouTube channel.
And if anybody is a reader, or even if you're a writer, you can feel free to contact me.
Joe Everon at yahoo.com to reach out to him. Just know he's going to walk out with a couple of books today because I can't have him not having read his peer authors. That would not be good. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Appreciate you taking the time to watch. Enjoy the rest of your day. Please stay safe, and we'll talk soon. Bye.
Thanks.